The moment that baby arrives, you are going to be hit with information overload, from the midwives in hospital to the internet to your own parents and even well-meaning strangers. And it can create a paralyzing amount of overwhelm. So I decided to leverage my own network and go to the most trusted source, my community of mom friends who've been through those postpartum trenches in the last 2 years. And I asked them one simple question: what is the best piece of postpartum advice that you can give? And what came back was absolute gold. It wasn't a list of baby gear or sleep training tactics. It was a strategic playbook on how to thrive in those first 8 weeks. Here are the top 10 best pieces of postpartum advice from the women who've lived it. Advice that will save your sanity, your relationships, and maybe even your sleep. Number 1, let go of bounceback culture. This is the idea that women should be getting right back out there after they've had a baby. Go get to the gym, run a marathon, go shopping, be super productive, tick off your to-do list, tidy the house. This creates such unrealistic expectations, and this is very much fueled by social media, and I think it's a very toxic part of Western culture. Giving birth is a huge neurological and physical event, and the recovery is months and maybe years. It's not a matter of weeks. And I think we can learn a lot from Eastern culture. For example, the Chinese custom of sitting the month is a 30 to 100 day confinement period where the mother is only responsible for rest and recovery. They're actually exempt from doing all chores. Other people take care of them. They're on a special diet rich in warming foods to help get energy back and get their blood flowing again. That culture recognizes that the mother is such a critical part of the family's success. It's so important to take care and nourish our mothers after they've given birth. Would you tell a friend that's just given birth that she should really get back to the gym and start shedding a few pounds? Absolutely not. So don't say that to yourself. It's also not an effective tool to lose weight or to be more productive to beat yourself up. So let it go. Be compassionate. Give yourself time. Give yourself months and years and be realistic. Number 2, what's best for mom/parents is best for baby. There is a very strong scientific link between maternal and paternal mental health and your child's developmental trajectory, meaning that one of the most critical factors in determining your child's life outcomes is maternal and paternal well-being. And breastfeeding is such a good application of this advice. To quote my brilliant mom friend who is 4 months postpartum, when I started crying literally every time I looked at the breast pump, I knew it was time to switch to formula. Women are under so much pressure to breastfeed, and the reason for that is because breast milk is nutritionally superior to formula, and there's no doubt about that. The science is quite clear, but some moms cannot breastfeed. And putting an enormous amount of pressure on a mother to do something that she's not able to is just going to be detrimental to her mental health. Now, there are a lot of tactics and things that you can do to try to promote breastfeeding, such as triple feeding or nesting. But keep in mind, all of these things do have an impact on a woman's mental health and sleep, which are often intertwined, and only you are going to know your limits there. So don't underestimate the importance of your own mental well-being, and remember the research. The same way that I would approach this in business is I wouldn't just look at one singular factor, which is what's best for baby in isolation, but instead I would look holistically as what is going to be best for that family unit, which includes the baby, but also the parents. Number 3, accept that everything will pass. It's all a phase, the good and the bad, teething, developmental changes, sickness, sleep. It's all just one phase after another phase. I often think of parenthood like riding the waves of the ocean. To the extent that you can go with the flow of the waves instead of trying to paddle upstream and resist, it's really helpful to have this mindset when you're going through those really tough times. I remember when I brought my baby home in the newborn phase and I was breastfeeding 12 hours a day, thinking, oh my gosh, is this what I've signed up for? Am I just a dairy cow now? It was really hard, but truly it was such a brief phase in the grand scheme of things, even though it felt long at the time. One thing that surprised me the most with sleep is how often it changes. Just when you think you've got things under control and everything is going well, then you go travel and your baby is in a different sleep environment and they're not sleeping as well anymore. They're teething, they're going through a big developmental leap, and sleep may just go right out the window. But know that it is a phase and eventually it will pass. Number 4, say yes to all help that is offered. This is a big one. If you are someone that is independent, if you don't really want to inconvenience other people, it's really hard to say yes to help. But just do it. Before you even think about it, force yourself to say yes without overthinking. This was a big mistake of mine. If somebody offered to help out on a Saturday coming up, I would think to myself, maybe my baby will be sleeping better by then. Maybe I can just handle it all myself. Help is always helpful and appreciated. So just say yes. Do not overthink it. Number 5, find your community and lean on them. Community is so essential in this phase of life. Go join a mother's group if you are a mom, even just to meet one friend. If you are a dad, go join an online group, start your own group, reach out to old friends who are dads. It's so important that you can lean on people who are going through the exact same thing as you. One thing I'm so grateful for, having had a child in Australia, is that once your child is born, you are put into a mother's group with about 10 to 15 moms who all live in your neighborhood and had babies within a few days to a few weeks of each other, so that you can go through all of those phases together. Because let me tell you, a baby at 2 weeks is a completely different baby than a baby at 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. The changes are so rapid, and having someone go through all of those phases alongside you, lean on each other, support each other, share tips of what helped you, all of that is just so beneficial. If you don't have an easily accessible parents group to join, please go out and meet people. Join any type of parent and baby type class like baby sensory, Gymbaroo, go to the library for rhyme time, swimming class. Just look up what's available around you and make an effort to get out there. Even going to a cafe, if you run into a parent with a young baby, similar age, go say hello to them. Chances are they're so happy to talk to you. They've probably been at home with a little potato, not getting a lot of adult interaction, and would be thrilled to have an adult conversation. Introduce yourself. Ask them how old their baby is. How are naps going? How is feeding going? You have so much in common. And those social interactions and just the camaraderie that you build in a short time can be so mentally beneficial. Get medical and professional help when needed. Postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety are extremely common, but they're also treatable. And so it's so important to be able to identify when you're having those symptoms and get the help that you need if you're feeling very stressed or anxious or overwhelmed. 1 in 8 women and 1 in 10 men suffer from postpartum depression or anxiety. And if you're having twins, your risk of developing PPD goes up about 28%. I believe those statistics are probably underrepresented because it does depend on self-reporting. So don't underestimate this one. Now, there are a lot of really helpful free helplines that you can reach out to. Here in Australia, Panda is an excellent one. And for men, Men's Line is a really great resource. If you're still pregnant, research those numbers and just put them into your phone. Sometimes you just need to call someone immediately and you can't wait until your therapist is next available. If you already do have a therapist, make sure that you are scheduling in those check-ins periodically. If you don't have a therapist, do some of that research now and try to find one. Find out what benefits are available to you. Here in Australia, set up a call with your GP where you'll go through a mental health plan, and that will enable you to get 10 sessions that are partially covered through Medicare. If you're in other countries, see what is available. If you are employed and you're on a parental leave policy, you can see if you have any employee assistance program that you could tap into in this time. The idea is to do a bit of research and find someone to talk to you ahead of time so that it's really easy for you when you are feeling overwhelmed. Number 7, get out of the house. The days are long and the years are short. I think that's a very true statement, but yeah, the days are pretty long. And sometimes it feels like Groundhog Day when you're in this cycle of feeding and sleep and repeat. So get out of the house. Just take those first steps. Have something in your calendar to look forward to. There are so many different programs and activities that you can do with your baby. I mentioned a few earlier. Just something to fill your cup, to break up the week once you get stuck in that cabin fever. Number 8, nobody cares that your baby is crying. I think this is really helpful advice. So the crazy thing is the way that you hear your babies cry is not how other people hear your babies cry. And there is a real biological reason for this. We have evolved to hear our babies cry as a 10 out of 10 emergency so that we are attentive to our baby's needs. However, that is not how other people hear it. To you, it sounds louder, more distressing, more grating, so that you are prone to take action, but that's not what other people hear. And I've really experienced this firsthand. I remember bringing my newborn baby home, and he was just crying and losing it when I had some visitors over, and they had older children. I remember them saying to me, "Oh, newborn cries are so cute because they're so quiet." And I was thinking, are you nuts? My brain is reverberating in my skull right now. My anxiety is at a 10 out of 10. And they're over there thinking how cute it is. I wouldn't necessarily go to the movies with your newborn baby, but go to a cafe, go to a park. Worst case scenario, you slightly inconvenience someone for 15 minutes, but the benefit to you can be immense. So take those steps out of the house. Don't be concerned about what other people think, because chances are they barely even notice it. If there are parents in the group, they are so much more likely to be willing to help you out instead of having any judgment or shame. Other parents totally get it, so don't be too concerned. Number 9, filter the advice. Information overload should just be the tagline of having a baby in this generation. There is so much out there, and it really does start from day one in hospital when every time a new nurse or midwife comes on their shift, they tell you conflicting advice of what you just heard. Trying to seek the advice of experts is always helpful, but to the extent that it helps you and resonates, not to the extent that it stresses you out. And this was a really big learning of mine. I remember just being so concerned about having an overtired or overstimulated baby. That is like a dirty word. If you look it up on the internet, you are so in fear of your baby reaching that state as if all hell will break loose, that I remember just adhering to such a strict schedule of napping and wake windows to ensure that I never hit this dreaded overtired. Meanwhile, I actually have a child who has lower sleep needs and is just born that way. And so many tears could have been avoided for myself and my baby if I think I had just let that advice roll off my back and not been so obsessed with it. Remember that babies are actually little humans. They're not robots. They don't all operate the same way. And all that information online, it's guidelines, it's general benchmarks, but what works for 9 out of 10 babies may not work for your baby. And this is where you need to listen to advice, but if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't help, it doesn't apply, get rid of it. Just take on what actually makes sense for you. Number 10, start planning your support system before baby. One of the biggest mistakes that new parents make is they over prepare for birth and they under prepare for baby. A lot of focus gets placed on that one-day event and you end up underestimating the 8-week marathon that follows. So this is going to be your most crucial, most beneficial thing you can do is start preparing for help. Get the help that you need early. Get those meals frozen, align meal delivery services, schedule in your family to come and stay with you to help, or get paid help, organize a doula or a nanny. Ensure that you have the help that you need. Now, I'm really passionate about this topic, so I created a whole other video for you to check out, which is all about ensuring that you can create that dream village and make sure that you are so well set up for the postpartum phase and have a very strong support system in place. What they don't tell you is that when a baby is born, a parent is also born. You are changing in enormous ways. Your brain actually does change. It's pretty wild when you become a parent. You are going to discover a resilience in yourself that you did not know you possessed. Babies are such a gift, and I know sometimes it doesn't feel that way, particularly in that newborn phase, but you are going to discover things about yourself that you never knew. And just remember that if other people can do it, you can do it too. And there's so many wonderful, joyful moments yet to come, and your heart just continues to expand to fit it all in. So I'd love to keep the conversation going. What is the best piece of advice that you have heard that you'd like to share with our community to help each other? And if you enjoyed this video, check out my other video in our postpartum series, and please don't forget to subscribe so you get notified when new videos come out in this series. I hope you have a great day. Take care.